In a prosperous kingdom named Solara, there ruled King Alaric. He had a golden palace and a crown adorned with jewels. Yet his heart was heavy, as he believed true greatness came from wealth and power. The people of Solara worked hard, but the king imposed heavy taxes to accumulate more riches. One day, an old woman visited the palace. She gave the king a small, ordinary seed and said, "Plant it with love, it will teach you what truly matters." The king laughed and tossed the seed into the barren garden of the palace. But a young gardener girl named Leela overheard the old woman's words. Leela watered the seed daily and cared for it diligently. Weeks later, the seed grew into a large, beautiful tree, adorned with golden fruits that glistened. The tree's beauty attracted villagers, who came to eat the fruits and rest under its shade. Leela distributed the fruits, providing nourishment to the hungry and comfort to the weary. The kingdom thrived, not with wealth, but through kindness. King Alaric saw the tree and asked Leela for its secret. Leela replied, "I simply took care of it, as the old woman instructed." The king realized his mistake. He understood that true greatness lies in helping others, not in hoarding wealth. He reduced taxes, shared his riches, and worked alongside his people. In the end, the old woman, who was the spirit of Solara, returned. She smiled and said, "A king's true legacy is not in gold, but in sowing seeds of kindness."
In a small village nestled between rolling hills, there lived a humble farmer named Yusuf. He was known for his generosity and devotion to Allah, always praising him for the blessings he received. Despite having a modest farm, Yusuf shared his harvest with neighbors and travelers alike, believing in the principle of charity and kindness as taught in Islam. One spring, a drought struck the region, and crops began to wither under the relentless sun. Farmers in the village began to despair, their hopes fading with every passing day. Yusuf, however, remained steadfast, praying to Allah for relief and guidance. His faith provided him solace, and he continued to offer whatever little he could to those in need. One night, in the midst of his prayers, Yusuf had a dream in which a voice urged him to dig a new well in the far corner of his field. He awoke with a renewed sense of purpose and immediately set to work, despite the skepticism of his neighbors who couldn't see the reason for such effort during a drought. For days, Yusuf toiled under the hot sun, his hands blistered and weary. But then, by the grace of Allah, he struck water. The well flourished with crystal-clear water, enough to revive his dying crops and provide relief for the entire village. Yusuf did not keep the water to himself. He invited everyone in the village to draw from the well. His act of generosity not only saved his farm, but revitalized the community. Families once again found hope, and the village, buoyed by this rare blessing, rekindled their faith. Through Yusuf's unwavering belief in Allah and his willingness to help others, he demonstrated the power of faith and charity. His story spread beyond his village as a lesson in the virtues of patience, gratitude, and generosity. In the end, Yusuf's actions showed that with steadfast faith and kindness, even the direst of circumstances can lead to abundance and unity. This story teaches us that true wealth lies in a grateful heart and a generous spirit.
राहुल ग्रीनवुड हाई के पास जाता है। हर कदम के साथ उसकी बेचैनी बढ़ रही है। वह अपने बैकपैक को समायोजित करता है, जो उसकी आंतरिक अशांति का एक भौतिक प्रकटन है। उसके पेट में तितलियां बेतहाशा फड़फड़ा रही हैं, अंदर नसों का तूफान उठ रहा है। राहुल कक्षा में प्रवेश करता है और सभी की निगाहें उस पर टिक जाती हैं। श्रीमती कपूर मुस्कुराहट के साथ मुस्कुराती हैं। बच्चों, आज हमारे साथ एक नया छात्र है। राहुल, तुम अपना परिचय क्यों नहीं देते? राहुल आगे बढ़ता है। उसकी आंखों में घबराहट और प्रत्याशा का मिश्रण होता है। मैं राहुल हूं। मैं पुणे से आया हूं। मुझे क्रिकेट और पढ़ना पसंद है। जीवंत कैंटीन के बीच अर्जुन, मीरा और विक्रम को राहुल से परिचय कराता है। मीरा की जिज्ञासा चमकती है। जब वह पूछती है, तो राहुल, हमें पुणे के बारे में बताओ, यह कैसा है? विक्रम चंचल मुस्कुराहट के साथ कहते हैं, हाँ, और इससे भी महत्वपूर्ण बात यह है कि आपके पसंदीदा क्रिकेटर कौन है? अर्जुन अच्छे स्वभाव से बीच में बोलता है, दोस्तों, उसे सांस लेने दो। राहुल, हम सोच रहे थे कि क्या तुम हमारे स्टडी ग्रुप में शामिल होना चाहोगे? राहुल उत्साह से जवाब देता है, यह बहुत अच्छा लगता है, मुझे वह वास्तव में पसंद आएगा।
Title: The Heart's Renewal. Once upon a gentle morning in the quaint village of Willowbrook, where the air was crisp with the scent of dew-kissed daisies, lived a woman named Elsie. She was beloved by all who knew her, yet within her heart, a subtle sadness quietly lingered. Elsie often found herself beneath the grand old oak tree, its branches like comforting arms, shielding her from the worries that weighed heavy upon her soul. Life tended to rush past Elsie like the swift waters of a bubbling brook, leaving her wondering if she was truly present, or merely going through the motions. She longed for clarity, a beacon of hope to guide her through the mist of her thoughts. One morning, as the sun paid a golden tribute to the still waters of Willow Pond, Elsie met a gentle old man named Oliver. With a smile as warm as the sun itself, he sat beside her beneath the oak. This tree, Oliver began, in his voice a calm measured assurance, has seen many seasons, yet it stands sturdy and wise. Like us, it needs both the sun's warmth and the rain's nourishment to grow. Elsie pondered on his words, finding them weaving into the fabric of her mind with soothing simplicity. Together, they spent many mornings under that tree, sharing stories, wisdom, and the delicate grace of silence. Oliver taught her the art of mindful breathing, encouraging her to embrace the present moment, to savor the gentle rise and fall of her breath. Slowly, Elsie began to shed the layers of self-doubt that clouded her spirit, like the autumn leaves that carpeted the ground. She learned to see each day as a gift, each emotion as a cherished friend, guiding her along the path of healing and renewal. The oak, steadfast and true, stood as a testament to Elsie's transformation. No longer burdened by life's swift currents, she now flowed with them, bound by neither past regret nor future worry. Elsie discovered strength within her heart and the quiet power in knowing one's self is whole. Through Elsie's journey, the village of Willowbrook saw the growth of not only a single soul, but a community inspired by her radiant hope. Her story spoke to the heart of every person, revealing the beauty in life's ever-shifting dance, and the irrepressible light of renewal that dwells within us all. Thus, beneath the wise and watchful oak, Elsie found not just momentary peace, but a lifetime's embrace of healing, a beacon to lead her eternally home. In Digiville, everything runs smoothly, apps sing, avatars dance, and emojis throw epic parties. Zoe Zip, a firecracker emoji, is prepping for the annual Glow Fest, where Digiville's citizens light up the sky with their unique sparkles. But mid-rehearsal, the world freezes. Pixels shatter like confetti, and Zoe's friend Bite Buddy's tail spins into a glitchy spiral. A virus. Bite yips, his LED eyes flickering. It's rewriting Digiville's code. Zoe spots Glint, the holographic trickster, giggling nearby. Did you cause this, Glint? She demands, zooming in front of him. LOL, nope. But I saw a shady shadow zapping the core crystal, Glint replies, projecting a meme of a shocked cat. The core crystal, Digiville's heart, keeps the world stable. If it's corrupted, Digiville could crash forever. Zoe, Bite, and a reluctant Glint team up to save their home. They dive into the data depths, a neon jungle of floating code and rogue pop-up ads. Bite sniffs out the glitcher's trail, but his glitchy nerves make him bark binary gibberish. 0101, oh no, I'm buffering, he whines. Chill, Bite. We got this, Zoe says, rocket skating over a chasm of deleted files. Glint distracts a swarm of adbots by projecting a viral dance video, shouting, yeet, as they boogie away. Deep in the depths, they find the glitcher, a swirling vortex of corrupted code with a creepy laugh. Digiville's too perfect. I'm remixing it into chaos, it roars, zapping the core crystal. The ground pixelates, and Zoe's sneakers start to dissolve. Bite, analyze the crystal's code. Zoe yells. Bite hesitates, glitching harder. Glint, surprisingly serious, flashes a meme, you got this, fam. Inspired, Bite's tail spins into overdrive, decoding the crystal's firewall. It needs a reboot, with a spark. Zoe grins. Spark's my middle name. She zooms into the crystal, unleashing her emoji glow. The light surges, purging the glitcher, who shrieks, "New, my aesthetic," before vanishing in a puff of static. Digital reboots, brighter than ever. At Glowfest, Zoe, Bite, and Glint light up the sky. Bite's tail wags glitch-free, and Glint projects a victory meme, mission complete. As the crowd cheers, Zoe whispers, "Next time, let's fight a smaller virus, okay?" Bite yips, "No promises," and Digital pulses with laughter. The end.
Once, in a quiet village nestled at the foot of an ancient mountain, there lived a humble water carrier named Sama. Every day, Sama carried 2 earthen pots suspended from a bamboo pole across his shoulders to fetch water from a crystal-clear spring. One of the pots had a small crack, causing it to always arrive only half full, whereas the other pot was always brimming with water. As they made their daily journey from the spring to the village, the cracked pot lamented its imperfections, feeling it was failing in its duty. "I am sorry, Sama," it said. "Because of my flaw, you do more work and receive less water." Sama, wise and kind-hearted, gently replied, "Look at the path we travel. Have you noticed the flowers growing only on your side?" Peering down, the cracked pot indeed saw the vibrant blooms lining its side of the path. "Yes, but what does it mean?" the pot asked. Sama explained, "I knew you had a crack, so I planted seeds along your side of the path. With each trip, you watered these seeds, turning them into beautiful flowers. Because of you, I can decorate the altars with fresh flowers and bring joy to our village." Hearing this, the cracked pot felt a sense of peace and purpose, for its flaw had inadvertently brought beauty to the world. Sama carried the pots and headed back to the village, his heart lightened by gratitude and wisdom. The sutra says, "Even in imperfection there is perfection, for everything possesses its own worth."
घने जंगल में जानवर शांति से घूमते हैं क्योंकि राजा सिंघा अपने चट्टानी सिंहासन से देखता है। लोमड़ी उसके पास आती है और वे जंगल की भलाई पर चर्चा करते हैं। एक भयंकर मगरमच्छ निकलता है, नदी पर कब्जा कर लेता है और प्यासे जानवरों के दिलों में दहशत पैदा करता है। पानी के लिए बेताब जानवर उद्धार के लिए राजा सिंघा की ओर मुड़ते हैं। सिंहा एक महत्वपूर्ण बैठक बुलाता है, जंगल के प्रमुख व्यक्तियों को इकट्ठा करता है। हमें इस समस्या को हल करने के लिए मिलकर काम करना होगा, सिंहा ने घोषणा की। उसकी आवाज अधिकार के साथ गूंज रही थी। लोमड़ी ने सुझाव दिया, हम मगरमच्छ को जंगल छोड़ने के लिए मजबूर कर सकते हैं। तोते ने चहचहाया, चलो मगरमच्छ को झूठे वादे से लुभाते हैं। जानवर नदी के किनारे इकट्ठा होते हैं और मगरमच्छ के पास जाते हैं। जानवरों ने एक साथ कहा, दूसरी नदी में बहुत स्वादिष्ट मछली है। नदी के किनारे शांति छा जाती है क्योंकि जानवर एक साथ सद्भाव में पानी पीते हैं।
In a land not so far away, there lived a little girl named Lila. Lila loved exploring the woods behind her house. The trees were tall and kind, whispering secrets to those who listened well. One sunny afternoon, Lila decided to visit her favorite spot in the forest, a little glade filled with daisies and butterflies. As she roamed, she heard a gentle humming. It was coming from an old wooden bench. To her surprise, a tiny fairy sat there, her wings shimmering like morning dew. "Hello," Lila said softly, careful not to frighten the fairy. The fairy smiled warmly. "Hello, Lila. I'm Sparkle, the forest fairy. I help the flowers bloom and guide lost animals back home." Sparkle and Lila talked about the magic of the forest, sharing stories of brave rabbits and wise owls. Lila learned that Sparkle was preparing for the Fairy Festival, a joyous event where magical creatures celebrated by singing and dancing under the moonlight. "Would you like to join us, Lila?" Sparkle asked kindly. Lila's eyes widened with excitement. "Yes, please," she exclaimed. "I'd love to see how you fairies celebrate." As the sun began to set, Sparkle sprinkled a pinch of fairy dust on Lila, turning her into a miniature version of herself, complete with delicate wings. Together, they flew to the fairy meadow, where the festival was about to begin. There were fairies, elves, and forest critters, all gathering to partake in the merriment. The air filled with cheerful music and laughter. Throughout the evening, Lila danced with her new friends, twirling around in circles, and giggling as they performed playful tricks. Sparkle introduced her to the wise elder fairy, who gave Lila a bracelet made of sparkling stars as a token of friendship. When the moon was high, casting a gentle light over the forest, it was time to return home. Sparkle whispered a farewell spell, and Lila found herself back in her glade, her wings gone but the bracelet still shimmering on her wrist. As Lila walked back to her house, she felt a sense of peace and happiness, knowing she had made new friends and would meet them again someday. With stories of joy and friendship filling her mind, she drifted into a peaceful sleep, ready to dream of her magical adventure. And so, the moon continued to shine gently over the quiet forest, watching over the dreams of all who lived within it.
गोलू छत पर खड़ा है। उसके चेहरे से खुशी झलक रही है, क्योंकि वह अपनी रंगीन पतंग को आसमान में उड़ाता है। दादी गोलू को स्नेह से देखती हैं। साफ आसमान में पतंग के जीवंत नृत्य की प्रशंसा करती हैं। क्या खूबसूरत पतंग है गोलू। गोलू की आंखें गर्व से चमकती हैं जब वह जवाब देता है, धन्यवाद दादी, मैंने इसे खुद बनाया है। दादी की आवाज प्रशंसा से भर जाती है, यह बहुत ऊंचा उड़ रहा है, तुम बहुत अच्छे पतंग उड़ाने वाले हो। गोलू का दिल खुशी से भर जाता है, क्योंकि वह कहता है, मुझे पतंग उड़ाना पसंद है दादी, इससे मुझे लगता है कि मैं भी उड़ सकता हूँ। दादी के आरामदायक घर में सुनहरी धारियों से सजी एक जादुई पतंग एक पुराने ट्रंक से निकलती है। दादी पतंग पकड़े हुए हैं। उसकी नरम रोशनी उसके चेहरे को रोशन कर रही है, क्योंकि वह इसके रहस्य को साझा करती है। यह पतंग जादुई है, लेकिन इसे उड़ाने के लिए एक व्यक्ति का हृदय शुद्ध और इरादे नेक होने चाहिए। पतंग उड़ाने की प्रतियोगिता का मैदान बच्चों के साथ जीवंत हो उठता है, क्योंकि वे आकाश को रंगीन पतंगों के बहुरूप दर्शक से भर देते हैं। चीकू की पतंग आक्रामक रूप से नाचती है, आसानी से प्रतिस्पर्धा को काटती है। गोलू आगे बढ़ता है, उसकी जादुई पतंग हवा में उठती है।
In the quaint village of Sitapur, Ramaswarup was knee-deep in cow paths, both literally and figuratively. His childhood was spent dodging life's problems and humorous cows. His father, a farmer, believed farming was akin to religious lunacy. One day, the rain gods took a leave of absence, and the fields withered like bad hair days. The drought hit like the unwanted broccoli festival. Ramaswarup, unable to satiate hunger with sermons, set off to the city to work on construction sites. In Lucknow, Ramaswarup juggled bricks and slept on hard sidewalks. The village soil's fragrance haunted him as he saved money for his wife Sarla and their children, who were learning patience and hunger strikes. A telegram announced his father's death, bringing Ramaswarup back home in tears. He found his fields in despair, but was determined to revive them. With a loan, he managed a decent harvest, but market prices were low. Facing grumpy moneylenders, Ramaswarup optimistically peddled his produce directly, learning from YouTube. He tackled farming with renewed vigor, determined to grow crops and cultivate knowledge. His son, Raghu, developed a farming app to inform locals about market prices and weather changes. Ramaswarup became a symbol of perseverance, inspiring change and recycling jokes about cows. Now an award-winning farmer, Ramaswarup earned his place like a perfectly grown potato. His battle cry to farmers was to unite like sticky rice, ensuring no fields remained barren or stomachs empty. With meetings on strategy and soil, Ramaswarup's legacy was in the fields and the laughter of farmers he inspired. Despite odds and moderate rainfall, he flourishes, declaring to the soil, "You are my mother, my altar." Once upon a time, in a prosperous kingdom, ruled the famed King Vikranaditya, renowned for his justice and wisdom. One day, two merchants, Ramu and Shyamu, appeared before the royal court with a dispute. Ramu proclaimed, "Your Majesty, I entrusted Shyamu with my gold to sell, but he hasn't given me the full payment." Xiaomu retorted, "That's a lie. I paid the full amount, but now Ramu demands more." The king listened intently and queried, "Do either of you have any witnesses or evidence?" Both shook their heads, for there was no third party present during the transaction. After pondering for a moment, the king summoned a servant and instructed, "Bring an old, empty chest from the market." When the chest arrived, the king placed a stone inside and declared, "This chest will stay with each merchant for one night. By morning, the chest will open for the truthful and remain shut for the deceptive." Throughout the night, Xiaomu was filled with anxiety, thinking, "There is some magical justice with the king. If I haven't spoken the truth, the chest will not open, and I'll be disgraced." In the morning, both returned to the court, and the king asked them to open the chest. Xiaomu, trembling with fear, opened the chest and blushed upon seeing the stone. Immediately, he clasped his hands and confessed, "Your Majesty, forgive me. I haven't paid Ramu his money. I'll return the full amount now." The king smiled and said, "True justice requires neither magic nor force, but wisdom and truth. Xiaomu, it was wise of you to admit your wrongdoing." The king ordered Xiaomu to repay Ramu and granted him a mild punishment for his deceit. Moral: truth always prevails, and lies cannot withstand justice for long. A king's justice is guided by wisdom and insight, not strength or power. Emperor Akbar loved testing Birbal's wit and wisdom. One day, Akbar asked Birbal a puzzling question. "Can you solve the mystery of these two identical eggs?" The court was silent. No one knew the answer. Birbal smiled confidently and accepted Akbar's challenge. He examined both eggs closely with great diligence. Birbal realized the solution lay in their weight. He found one egg slightly heavier than the other. "This heavier egg contains a double yolk," Birbal revealed. Akbar applauded Birbal's intelligence and wise deduction. The court was amazed by Birbal's analytical skills. Akbar said, "Birbal, your wisdom never ceases to surprise." The incident became famous, showcasing Birbal's cleverness. Everyone in the kingdom admired Birbal even more. Birbal's legend grew, earned respect across the realm. Akbar and Birbal's stories became part of folklore.
धूप में नहाया हुआ छोटा मिट्टी का घर गर्मी बिखेरता है। दादी आंगन पर नजर रख रही हैं। बच्चों के खेलने की खुशमिजाज आवाजों के बीच मां रसोई में खाना बनाती है। उसकी उपस्थिति एक आरामदायक लंगर है। सीमा और राजू खेलते हैं। उनकी हंसी आंगन में गूंजती है। तुलसी का पौधा पहरा दे रहा है। जैसे ही पिताजी प्रवेश करते हैं, थकान उनके चेहरे पर अंकित हो जाती है, जो दिन की कठोर वास्तविकताओं की एक स्पष्ट घोषणा है। "बेटा, अब नौकरी नहीं रही," पिताजी बताते हैं, अपने शब्दों के भार से कमरे की शांति भंग करते हुए। मां चाय लेकर आती है, लेकिन पेशकश चुप्पी नहीं तोड़ पाती, क्योंकि बच्चों की निगाहें बढ़ती चिंता को दर्शाती हैं। सभी लोग एक साथ बैठे हैं। उनके चेहरे गंभीर हैं, क्योंकि वे खर्चों को कम करने के तरीकों पर चर्चा करते हैं। कमरे में तनाव महसूस किया जा सकता है। मां कहती हैं, "अब फिजूल खर्ची नहीं करनी चाहिए।" दादी कहती हैं, "मैं अपने गहने गिरवी रखने के लिए तैयार हूं।" सीमा आत्मविश्वास से घोषणा करती है, "मां, मैं ट्यूशन पढ़ा सकती हूं।" राजू भी स्कूल के बाद दूध पहुंचाने में मदद करेगा। राजू स्कूल के बाद दूध पहुंचाने में मदद करने के लिए सहमत है। मां और पिताजी गर्व से सीमा और राजू को देखते हैं। गांव में सीमा शाम ढलते ही बच्चों को पढ़ाती है। गांव वालों के बीच सीमा के समर्पण को देखकर प्रशंसा बढ़ती है। मां दूर से देखती है। उसकी चुप्पी अनकही विचारों से भरी है। राजू की साइकिल गांव की सड़क से गुजरती है। उसके पीछे दूध के डिब्बे धीरे से बज रहे हैं। पैडल चलाते हुए उसका चेहरा चौड़ा, संक्रामक मुस्कान में बदल जाता है। गांव वाले गर्मजोशी से अभिवादन करते हैं। राजू के गुजरते ही उनका स्नेह स्पष्ट हो जाता है। पिताजी की मुस्कान से घर में खुशियां छा जाती हैं, क्योंकि उन्हें फिर से काम मिल गया है। मां की आंखों में खुशी के आंसू हैं, यह देखकर कि उनके परिवार की मुश्किलों का अंत हो रहा है। घर में सभी मुस्कुरा रहे हैं, एक नई शुरुआत की उम्मीद से भरे हुए। कोमल चांदनी के नीचे परिवार आंगन में हंसी और भोजन साझा करता है। दादी की आवाज रात में गूंजती है, ज्ञान से भरी। हम घर तभी चला सकते हैं जब हम सब साथ चलें। कालू, एक शक्तिशाली शेर, जंगल में घूमता है। उसकी उपस्थिति परिदृश्य को नियंत्रित करती है। कालू दहाड़ता है, एक ऐसी आवाज जो जंगल को हिला देती है और सभी जीवों के दिलों में डर पैदा करती है। वह एक हिरण को डराता है और उसका शिकार छीन लेता है। जंगल के हृदय में कालू एक पेड़ की छाया में आराम करता है। प्रकृति की शांति में शांति पाता है। एक छोटा सा चींटा कालू के पैर पर रेंगता है, जिससे शांति भंग होती है। जैसे ही कालू चींटी को कुचलने वाला होता है, एक गुहार लगती है, कृपया मुझे बख्श दो। कालू हौंस पड़ता है, फिर मान जाता है, ठीक है, मैं तुम्हें जाने दूंगा। 7 दिन बाद कालू की शक्तिशाली दहाड़ जंगल की शांति को भंग कर देती है, क्योंकि वह खुद को एक शिकारी के जाल में फंसा हुआ पाता है। उसकी निराशा भरी चीखें अनसुनी गूंजती हैं, जब तक कि एक नन्हा बचावकर्ता अपने वफादार साथियों के साथ प्रकट नहीं होता। जाल दूर हो जाता है, कालू को उसकी स्वतंत्रता प्रदान करता है। कालू चींटी के प्रति आभार व्यक्त करता है और स्वीकार करता है, धन्यवाद। मैं समझ गया कि ताकत ही सब कुछ नहीं है, बल्कि दया और विनम्रता भी महत्वपूर्ण है। कालू खड़ा होकर जानवरों को देखता है और कहता है, मैं आप सभी से माफी चाहता हूं और दोस्त बनना चाहता हूं। कालू अब एक परोपकारी संरक्षक, जंगल में हर प्राणी की सुरक्षा और भलाई सुनिश्चित करता है। उनकी चौकस निगाहों के तहत जंगल शांति और समृद्धि में फल फूल रहा है।
Once in the quiet meadow of Springhaven, where the stars winked gently from above, lived a little firefly named Twinkle. Twinkle had the brightest glow of all the fireflies, but he was shy, fearing that his light might bother others. So, every night, instead of dancing with his friends or lighting up the forest, Twinkle would hide under a leaf dreaming of being like the brave fireflies he admired. One warm evening, as Twinkle lay under his cozy leaf, he heard a gentle sobbing. Peeking out, he found a little mouse named Millie, her whiskers wet with tears. Oh, Twinkle! Twinkle hesitated. His glow was bright, but what if he couldn't help her? As he pondered, wise old owl Hoo-Hoo perched nearby with a soft gaze. Once upon a time, nestled amidst the majestic hills, lay a lush green forest known as Joyland. In this enchanting jungle, all animals lived happily. The most famous was Bubbly Bear, a plump, fun-loving, and slightly lazy bear who adored eating and sleeping. Bubbly's day consisted of waking up late, munching on sweet berries, and taking naps by the riverbank. Hardworking animals, like Chip the squirrel, Timmy the rabbit, and Gargantua the elephant, would often advise him, Bubbly, why not do some work for a change? You won't achieve much otherwise. One fine day, King Leo, the lion, made an announcement. There's a magical bell hidden somewhere in the forest. Whoever finds it will be granted a special wish. You can ask for anything. The jungle buzzed with excitement. The animals set out early in search of the bell. Bubbly didn't want to exert himself. He hatched a plan. He secretly trailed the other animals, scheming, let them find the bell, I'll just note where it is. But his cunning came to naught, as everyone took different paths. Chip the squirrel tirelessly climbed trees, pushed through bushes, and spent hours searching. Her paws were empty, yet she refused to give up. Exhausted, Bubbly sat by the riverbank wishing, how I wish the bell itself would come to me. Just then, he met wise old Tortoise. The tortoise calmly said, Son, nothing comes without effort. Bubbly chuckled and replied, You move too slowly. How could you possibly find the bell? The tortoise smiled and remarked, Slow I may be, but perseverance is my forte. Meanwhile, Chip found a clue. A golden glimmer peeped from the branch of a tree. She climbed up and discovered an old nest with something sparkling inside. Bubbly spotted Chip's discovery from afar. He rushed over, claiming, Hey, that's my bell. I saw it first. Chip was startled. But you just got here. Bubbly snatched the bell and dashed off towards the center of the jungle. He rang the bell hard and exclaimed, "I want daily meals, without hard work." Yet, no sound emerged from the bell. He rang it again to no avail. Then a mystical voice echoed, "This bell works only for genuine-hearted and diligent animals." Animals gathered around. Chip explained the truth. King Leo angrily declared, "Bubbly, you deceived us. This jungle thrives on honesty." Ashamed, Bubbly returned the bell to Chip. Chip chimed the bell and wished, "I want all animals in the jungle to be happy and never go hungry." The bell gleamed, and the forest was blessed with plenty of fruits, water, and happiness. Bubbly realized his error. He pondered, "From now on, I'll put in effort. True joy lies in doing good for others." He apologized to Chip and started aiding with duties in the jungle. Now, Bubbly woke up early, planted trees, cleaned the river, and narrated tales to young ones. Animals remarked, "Bubbly has changed indeed." King Leo declared, "Learning at the right moment is wisdom." Moral: real happiness doesn't stem from deception. True magic is in dedication and honesty.
एक गांव में रोहन और सोहन नाम के दो दोस्त रहते थे। रोहन बहुत मेहनती था, जबकि सोहन थोड़ा आलसी। एक दिन दोनों जंगल में घूमने गए। रास्ते में उन्हें एक पेड़ पर शहद से भरा छत्ता दिखा। रोहन ने कहा, "चलो शहद निकालते हैं।" लेकिन सोहन बोला, "ये बहुत ऊंचा है, मैं नहीं चढ़ सकता।" रोहन ने उसकी मदद की और दोनों ने मिलकर शहद निकाला। थोड़ी दूर चलने पर उन्हें एक नदी मिली। सोहन तैरना जानता था, लेकिन रोहन नहीं। अब सोहन ने कहा, "डरो मत, मैं तुम्हें पीठ पर बिठाकर पार करवाऊंगा।" दोनों ने एक दूसरे की मदद से शहद और नदी पार की। उस दिन उन्हें समझ आया कि असली दोस्ती मदद करने और साथ देने में होती है। शिक्षा: दोस्तों को हमेशा एक दूसरे की मदद करनी चाहिए। हर किसी में अलग अलग गुण होते हैं, मिलकर काम करने से सफलता मिलती है।